Guys, Matt Reeves, the director of The Batman, just dropped a new deleted scene all about the Joker, Batman meeting the Joker, and of course we have to talk about it. Guys, Chris and Rob of the Jersey Comic Crew here, coming back with another Batman, or the Batman video. Rob, we got 5 minutes of this deleted scene. I'm surprised they showed the whole thing and didn't wait to try and make people buy more of those DVDs no one wants to buy anymore. But what did you think of this 5-minute Joker scene? I can't wait to talk about this with you.
So before you even get into my thoughts on the actual scene itself, I gotta give kudos to Matt Reeves and the creative team behind the Batman. Them not having this scene in the movie and also giving us the full 5 minutes and not forcing us to wait till the DVD release just shows how much they care about the Batman fans out there. And now you guys are thinking, what do you mean, Rob? And yes, the obvious is like, he's not trying to steal your money away for the DVD because he knows you're gonna already buy the movie anyway. The fact that Joker scene, which that's what the scene is, I'm sure you've already watched it if you're here. The fact that it's not in the movie allowed us to be fully enveloped in the movie, what's happening currently, right? We're not worried about, oh my God, the Joker. When is the Joker coming back? Yeah. I guess this guy's going to turn into the Joker. How does he turn into the Joker? He allows us to enjoy the full movie within its second without thinking that, all right, what's the sequel next going to be? Until the very end where we see that Joker scene. And then when you get that Joker scene at the end of that movie, you're like, oh, this doesn't fit. We didn't need that. But now realizing that this scene was in there and that could have been in there, I think it would have soured the whole movie for me. I think it would have been just so focused on the Joker if he's going to come in the future stuff. This removal of it is fine for me. I'm like, oh, wow, I could enjoy it. But now when I rewatch the movie, I definitely want to have that scene in there because it's something that he would do. Like, just like any other killer would go talk to Hannibal Lecter if they chasing somebody down. Like, you talk to a sane person to get more information. And that's Batman's MO in the comics and in other video games. So for me, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm glad that Matt Reeves did it this way. Now, Chris, what about you? I know mine is very like looking at the broad spectrum and then focusing, narrowing. What were your thoughts when you watched this deleted scene?
Well, one, I loved it. And two, I had some of the same thoughts that you had, where I'm kind of glad my first time in, I didn't have to see this while I'm focused on this Riddler storyline and the detective side and figuring out all those riddles. I did love the scene. I think, like you said, Rob, in a Blu-ray release and a 4K release, whatever the hell these things do anymore.
Whatever
if
the
there
kids
is, like,
watch.
Whatever the kids are doing. With this kind of director's cut, maybe, like an option on the DVD where, like, those scenes are in the movie where they were originally are. That would be really cool. But one, I thought, man, did he look uncomfortable, right? Like, just looking at Joker.
You're talking, wait, who's uncomfortable? The Batman or the Joker?
No, the audience. Like,
the audience. Everybody was uncomfortable.
Everybody. It's uncomfortable to look at him. He is mangled up. Originally, I thought it was, are they going New 52 route? Maybe cut his face off, right? You don't see his full face all the time. It's kind of clips.
Okay.
Are they going to go that Scott Snyder route? Then you see his hands. He's got these boils. His fingers are like bloody and cracked, which, that's so uncomfortable for me. Like nails on a chalkboard style. But like, to me, it's almost like the original origin of him falling into the acid.
Yeah,
right?
It kind of feels like that.
That's what it felt like to me. And like, kind of like a real gruesome way of like, no, he fell into acid. This is what happened to his body and face. And I love this scene where Batman just goes in and it's like you said, very Hannibal Lecter, very Silence of the Lambs, right? Very Clarice Starling talking to Hannibal about the case, and he hands him the file and he gives him all the details. Like, no, this guy's a nobody. That's why he's killing all these somebodies, right? Like all the MO stuff, and he's trying to still play and toy with Batman. I really liked it, Rob, and I really like that also it wasn't the focal point. I like that it was later on, and I'm interested to see if this kind of goes into the TV show side of things where we get to explore Joker more as like a character in this world and where he came from, more so than a sequel. I still don't think he's going to be a villain in at least the next sequel for me.
I like that you brought up his origin because that's something I want to address real quick. Now, I could definitely see them going with the falling into vat of acid, and that's why he has the boils and like his face is all messed up. And I can see that also being a slow change to him. Like his skin and body starts to mutate and it gets, that whiter pigment or that weird facial structure. They could do all that. When you look at this scene and you realize that he's in Arkham Lab, the untitled Arkham series, and like you just said, to tie everything all in a nice bow, this could be the Joker's origin story, how he twists and turns and becoming into the man that we know. I also could see another twist that like Harley Quinn could be in that show and like that's a psychiatrist and that like she goes crazy after he sets free, and we don't have to touch on Harley Quinn for a while. It doesn't have to be a main focus point. You'd be like, oh, Harleen Quinzel was the doctor, and it's like we're just so hyper focused on him, we don't even need to worry about her, and we know that like that's a setup for later. So you can still have all these origins twisted in a different way to fit the Matt Reeves universe, and I really am looking forward to what's coming next.
Yeah, I would love that too. I don't necessarily think we're going to get Harley because I think that's still very confusing with Margot Robbie's stuff and how that related to the Suicide Squad and Leto's Joker. I don't think we're going to get Harley. You could make the excuse too that it's so early in Batman's career, like Harley's not even around in Gotham yet. But as far as Joker, I am really interested to see if, number one, all these big name like actors are going to do this show, right? Like if we're going to get the explanation of Joker possibly getting into Arkham in the first place, right? Maybe in Batman's year one, maybe in, before the events of Riddler and the Batman happen, Joker gets put in there by him, right? So,
well, they kind of hinted at that, right? It's like almost a year anniversary or something like that they fought.
Exactly. So that in the aspect of like, oh, is Pattinson going to like cameo for this just kind of series in these things? Or is it just going to be like a stunt double in the bat suit and it'll look like him? Like that's a question too. And also, do we get to see kind of him and Riddler's quote unquote plan that they start forming, right? Are we going to see other characters that Batman has fought early on and are possibly in there? Or is it going to be focused on Riddler and Joker? And, is Paul Dano's a big actor, man. He's got other jobs. Like, is he going to be in this? So I think that's a really interesting avenue to go down.
Yeah.
If that's the one that they're going down, right? And I'm interested to see what they do with this former Joker. I think one thing that was off for me was his voice. I think it kind of went back. I don't know if that was a choice, but it went back and forth to like Joker crazy to semi-normal. And it made me think, Rob, about the Killing Joke version of the Joker, where he was kind of a part of the mob and, owed money and he had a normal life and he was a stand-up comedian that wasn't working. Kind of what they touched upon in Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, right? Where he's like the stand-up comedian and he, owes money to the mob. They throw him in the acid and it turns him completely insane. He loses his mind. That's kind of what it felt. He kind of had that, like, there was almost like a little bit of a New York accent behind it. And it was kind of popping through in and out between his Joker laughs and regular laughs and his voice stuff. So I wonder if he's still trying to find that voice or if that was on purpose where he's so insane. He's just going through all these personalities that he had and he can't control it.
I personally think that it's intentional that they did this. Like he's like, it shows that like he's still in the transitioning period from like regular crazy guy to Joker megalomaniac, and like he's like doing that transition. And I think that's a subtle nod that like I don't think a lot of people picked up, and I'm glad you did as well, because it's like, okay, he's obviously not the Joker yet, but like he's becoming into that character. I mean, visually alone you can see that, but even the mannerisms and how he speaks and how you hear him, there's even that attention to detail in there as well. But guys, it is clear to say that we really love this deleted scene. We want to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Were you glad this wasn't in the movie, or are you just glad that we got it at all?
And guys, thanks so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up, like, really helps the channel out a lot. If you're new, subscribe, turn on notifications. You never know what's going to happen with the Batman, and you know we're going to cover every single thing about it. And if you missed anything at all, it's right here on the channel for you. And as always, my name is Chris Heller. That's Rob Moran. We are the Jersey Comic Crew, and we will see you next time.